Hey everyone, my name is Scott. I'm the founder and author of SANspotter.com, and I've just arrived at the Dublin airport, and I'm making a beeline straight towards Terminal 2. Well, more specifically, I'm here for Aer Lingus flight number 145 to LAX, but I'm going to need to traverse through Terminal 2 to get there. Before getting too far, how about a huge round of applause for the Dublin Airport Authority? Long story short, this terminal is amazing, and it's leaps and bounds better than what I experienced on my last visit here way back in 2001. So yeah, today I'm flying Aer Lingus for the very first time, and even though I hate to admit it, I wasn't expecting all that much. The thing is, this is an airline that I've always considered to be somewhat plain and bland. Then again, people have been accusing me of being plain and bland for my entire life, so perhaps this is a match made in heaven. Since I wasn't expecting the food on Aer Lingus to be overly remarkable, I figured that kicking things off with a 3,000-calorie traditional Irish breakfast was the most appropriate thing to do. Turns out that I greatly underestimated the Aer Lingus culinary team, and oops, I guess I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. More about the food later. That healthy round of applause we all gave the Dublin Airport Authority earlier, all I'm gonna say is that it doesn't apply to the basement gates. It's tight down here. On the plus side, there are big windows with really nice views of the action, and I showed up just in time to see my aircraft arrive. So maybe a golf clap is more appropriate. By the way, if you're looking for holiday gift ideas for the aviation fans in your life, a shirt just like this one from 08left.com will make you an absolute hero. Do be sure to check out the link in the description below. Yeah, I still can't figure out why we were assigned a basement gate today. Level 2 of this terminal is actually quite large and very spacious, but for some reason or another, we weren't allowed the privilege of being up there with everyone else. Imagine a full A330 load of people packed into your local Starbucks, and that's pretty much what it felt like down here at Gate 404. If you're curious, the boarding process started exactly on time, and that 3,000-calorie breakfast was starting to come back and haunt me in not-so-pleasant ways. See? We needed to go upstairs after all. But I'm not the guy who makes the decisions, so all I could do was relish in the fact that I was about to step on board my 91st airline. I relish about the oddest things, I know, but it is what it is. Today's aircraft over to Los Angeles is an A330-200, which surprised me considering how dense of a route this is. Wouldn't it make more sense to use a larger A330-300 instead? Again, since I'm not the guy who makes these decisions, excuse me while I go back to relishing and stuff. You didn't think I'd actually take a window seat, did you? For the record, I love window seats just as much as anyone else, but not in long-haul economy. Anyway, it looks as if there's the usual pillow and blanket here at every seat, and I'm thinking that I like what I see so far. At least I think so. legroom looks to be decent as well, and as you can see here, I had plenty of room to wiggle and squirm as I posed for my usual legroom footage. I like to refer to it as the SANspotter shuffle. Oh, and yeah, there are power outlets at every seat, but you're gonna have to reach for them.
It's generally forecast to be a smooth flight. There may be some small areas of turbulence along our route, so please remain seated with your seatbelts fastened.
Since there's not much happening as we sit here waiting to push off the gate, I feel like slinging a shout out to Aline Grimes, who, by the way, just happened to be one of my very first patrons. Thanks, Aline. I'd also like to take a moment to say how impressed I am with this economy class cabin so far. I don't know, for some reason or another, I was expecting these old Aer Lingus A330s to be extremely ratty and worn down. But this felt and looked like a brand new airplane. Well, there's no turning back now. We are in the air and officially on our way to LAX, and I'm praying with all my might that that full Irish breakfast doesn't come back and haunt me. So, what's the deal with sour cream and chive pretzels in this part of the world? This is the exact same snack I got in British Airways Premier Economy just a few days earlier, and I was really hoping to never see this stuff ever again. Don't get me wrong though, because I totally ate it. Did you know that you can pre-purchase premium meals in Aer Lingus Economy? You can, and you totally should. Why? Well, primarily because you will be served before everyone else. It's also business class quality food served on real dishware. Also included in the premium meal is a free drink. I went with wine, but as I sit here recording this voiceover, I can't help but to think that I missed a huge opportunity by not going with a thick Irish beer instead. You know, the kind that leaves behind a sloppy, foamy mustache after every sip. Now that would be epic video content. As I alluded to earlier, this is where I give props to the Aer Lingus culinary team. It was quite a good meal, and the only way I could have enjoyed it more was to not have gorged myself with that 3,000-calorie full Irish breakfast just hours earlier. I feel fat. It's really too bad we won't be flying over New York today, because how cool would it be if my buddy Ko-chan was able to nab a high-altitude pic of this flight? Maybe next time. Speaking of wondering how cool things could be, I can't be alone in thinking that green mood lighting would be far better than blue. Yes, my nemesis. Now, don't get me wrong. I love ice cream just as much as I did when I was 6 years old, but airplane ice cream is always rock hard and impossible to chisel into for at least 20 minutes. It's about as frustrating as watching YouTube videos that buffer every 5 seconds. In the aisle again, waiting for my turn to use the lav. I just can't even imagine the horror of being trapped at a window seat, spending the entire flight trying to calculate my water consumption versus its relationship to cabin humidity and the eventual need to use the bathroom. I barely passed basic math in high school, and frankly, I'd rather not die of dehydration on an airplane. come on. Surely there's a way to make green mood lighting. I'm totally serious about this, by the way, since I'm of the opinion that it would enhance the overall Aer Lingus experience in a very positive way. Oh, and the video menu thing didn't work. Just saying. Who's in the mood for an Italian chicken calzone? They handed these things out just an hour and 30 minutes prior to landing, and I've got to say that it was exactly the kind of thing that I was in the mood for. Okay, it was a little overcooked, but really, this would be considered raw compared to some of the food I've mutilated in my own kitchen. In what is possibly the most abrupt end to an airline review ever, welcome to Los Angeles. This flight went by in a flash, and I definitely could have endured another 3 hours. No problem. I mean, easy peasy. So, the question is Aer Lingus long-haul economy something you should avoid? Absolutely not, in my opinion, and if you do end up trying it for yourself, can you please do me a favor? Tell them that SANspotter is still feeling bummed about the lack of green mood lighting. Thanks. Oh, I can't even believe that I forgot to mention one of the best things about flying to the US out of Ireland, and that is pre-clearance of US passport control and customs. Yep. It felt so freaking awesome to arrive at LAX, just as if this were a flight from Fresno or something. Only problem now is that I've got a 3-hour wait for my connecting flight down to San Diego. As always, I can't end a video without giving huge thanks to all my amazing patrons. It's with their support that the SANspotter content continues to flow, and I'm grateful beyond words. Speaking of which, a quick shout out goes to Joshua Bedel and Erik Shoell for being patrons for so long. Thanks, guys!